Good morning. Good morning. This is Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. Welcome to the Board of Estimate and Contract meeting for Tuesday, May 18th. It's 9:30 a.m. And I will call this meeting to order. Clerk Holmes.
Good morning. If I may, I'll start with the call in meeting and then go to your roll call if you so direct. Thank you. Welcome to the Board of Estimate Contract meeting for today, Tuesday, May 18th. The posted time is 9:30. This is a virtual meeting only, but public access is available via facebook.com/MOUNTBERNONY and also linked to the City of Mount Vernon website at cmbny.com. And we'll start with roll call.
Roll call, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Comptroller Reynolds.
Yes, here.
Morning. Council President Griffith.
Here.
Good morning, sir. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a quorum.
Thank you. So this meeting, we have adopted Robert's Rules of Order for years ago for this meeting, and Robert's Rules of Order, basically the very basic pieces of Robert's Rules of Order is when there is an agenda item, the agenda item is read, there is a motion, that motion is seconded, the chair says on the question, when the chair asks on the question, it is at that time that there is discussion on the motion for the agenda item. When the question and the discussion ends, then there is a call for the vote. During the vote, you answer with a yes or with a no or with an abstention. If it's a yes vote or a no vote, there is no further discussion from the person who's voting, they vote. If it is an abstention, then they can briefly explain the reason for the abstention. On the question, during the discussion, the conversation is to stay focused on the agenda item at hand. If the conversation begins to veer off as the chair will give a point of order, point of order, point of order. After 3 points of orders, the chair will move on and mute if necessary those who are not staying within the guidelines of the meetings. These are Robert's Rules of Order. This is what we will be following so that the business of the city can be done with efficiency and professionalism. And so with that, we will proceed. You can call the agenda items.
Madam Chair, if I may add one more point of information. In addition to that, if any member of who is part of the roll leaves the meeting, then their votes are not counted. Mm-hmm. If that member returns to the meeting, or if that member joins the meeting late, they have to be recognized by the chair, okay, or if not by a majority of the board to be allowed in to be a voting member, and then the clerk can count their vote.
And if a person chooses not to register their vote, then we will also again move on in the efficiency of business.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. The 1, 2, 3, as per your direction. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. If
we
I may
proceed with the agenda, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Resolutions approving ordinances. Item number 1 is requesting permission to reclassify/defund the position of labor and to fund the position of skilled laborer within the Department of Public Works.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Comptroller Reynolds on the question.
Thank you, ma'am.
On the question, hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Reynolds.
Yes.
Thank you. Council President Griffith.
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 2 is approving specifications and requesting advertising for bids for the resurfacing of various streets in the city of Mount Vernon, New York, for 2021 through 2023.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question.
On the question, are there streets, I haven't seen a list of the streets that should be paved in Mount Vernon. Is there a list available? Do we know what streets that are going to be paved in this period of time?
We have put out for various streets to keep it flexible. There are many streets. Most of the streets in Mount Vernon need resurfacing. And right now we don't have enough money to resurface them all, but we are looking at the critical nature of certain streets throughout the city. And we are utilizing a combination of city dollars and CDBG dollars. And so we have put out the bid as it has been specified for various streets in the city of Mount Vernon. And that is how the bid is being listed. So if you want a list, it could be every street in Mount Vernon. But that is how, no,
that's not
so
what I'm
we have
asking.
not, we do not have a list.
Okay, that's all I asked you, if you had a list.
No, I'm just saying we're not using a list that says various, meaning they can change based on need and what is required to be done at that time. So any more discussion on the question? Okay, roll call.
Controller Reynolds, I'll say on motion number 2.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
And I'd like to see the list once the list is generated, or
Council
whatever
President.
streets are going to be paved.
Aye.
Council, thank you, sir. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 3 is authorizing the transfer of funds from various city departments to the Department of Management Service for the sum of $111,525.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
No,
Council President Griffith,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4 is authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester County for the fun-filled summer program.
So moved.
second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
yes.
thank you. Council President Griffith,
Aye.
thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Was that the aye, ma'am? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
aye.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Item number 5 is authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester County Board of Legislators regarding the summer basketball camp.
So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
yes.
Council, thank you. Council President Griffith,
Aye.
thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.
thank you. Item number 6 is requesting permission to reclassify/defund the position of financial supervisor and to fund the position of senior account clerk within the Department of Youth Bureau.
So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
yes.
thank you. Council President Griffith,
Aye.
thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.
thank you. Item number 7 is granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a citywide carnival on May 24th and June 7th.
So moved,
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
yes.
Council President Griffith,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you all. Item number 8 is authorizing the Office of the Consumer Protection Weights and Measures to adopt the Westchester County Consumer Code.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question?
And the question is this to create a code? What do you mean by adopt a code?
We are adopting the updated code provided by the Westchester County Department of Consumer Protection. So we are updating our code.
Okay, that's
yes.
yeah, not adopting.
Thank you.
Can I just want to add that it's also to empower the consumer affairs person to write violations, and so in terms of generating some more revenue for the city. So That's
not only generating revenue, but making sure that we're bringing people into compliance with the ordinances and the codes of the city of Mount Vernon. It's not just about revenue, but it's more importantly about quality of life and ensuring that our businesses are doing business according to the proper business standards and codes of the county and the state of New York.
absolutely, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if I may, it's a matter of enforcement,
Mhm.
Right, it's alignment.
right? It's just not, giving tickets, but making sure there's compliance and enforcement. And I may be repeating, but I think enforcement is what we need to hear.
Okay, if you can do the roll call.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Controller Reynolds, how say you, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Again, Council President Griffith
Aye.
and Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 9 is granting permission for the Director of the Office of Emergency Management to attend a training course on May 26th and May 27th, 2021.
So moved.
Is the move by Council?
I captured the
or
motion.
Controller?
I captured the motion from Council President and the second from the Controller.
Okay, on the question? Okay, hearing none, roll call?
Controller Reynolds,
Yes.
Council President Griffith,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you all. Item number 10 is requesting permission to add additional positions of detectives and to defund one position of police officer within the Department of Public Safety.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question?
On the question, I see that it says requesting permission to add additional positions of detectives. How many?
Right now, it could be 10 to 15, but the stipend, this salary will cover the detective positions. These are not hiring more cops. It is just redesignating individuals as detectives, and the request to defund this one position will cover the detective stipends. As we know, we have reopened our major case squad. We have our homicide unit. We have our violent crimes unit. And it is important, being the lowest paid municipality of police officers in the region, that as we ask people to also co-perform detective duties, that we need to make sure that we have stipend money available for them to perform these duties. There is a lot of investigative work that needs to go on here in Mount Vernon, and so this is the request of our commissioner.
Okay, so Mayor Patterson Howard, it says requesting permission to add additional positions of detectives.
Yes, that's
Is
not
the
hiring
legislation
additional.
incorrect?
There's not hiring additional police officers. It is just being able to designate police officers as detectives, and there is a
Okay.
stipend that goes along with that.
Okay, it didn't say that, so, okay, that's fine.
No problem. Roll call?
Thank you. Controller Reynolds,
Yes.
thank you. Council President Griffith.
Aye.
Thank you.
I do want to say one
Mayor
thing.
Patterson Howard.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank
Aye.
you, ma'am. Thank
I
you.
do want
Controller?
to say, so we have additional positions as detectives, but what, are we getting additional positions as police officers because many are leaving?
No, those positions are just
retiring?
vacant. Those positions are vacant and we will replace them. So we don't need to expand the number. These positions are already budgeted.
The
So
police officers? I'm talking about the police officers.
The police officers' positions are already budgeted within the budget, and so if someone leaves, then there is a vacancy, so we don't have to add a position.
I'm not
as a
asking you
police
about
officer.
adding one. I'm saying, are we going to get more police officers since many are leaving? That was
Yes,
my
ma'am,
question.
we swore in police officers actually last Tuesday on May 11th. We swore
Okay.
in 6 police officers. We had the first police civil service exam this past Saturday, where over 400 people came to take the test. So as those tests are rated by the state, hopefully that list will come out in time for a hiring in December. And we are anticipating the county to do an academy either in the end of this month or next month, so that again, we can go to, because we don't have a Mount Vernon list, because there hasn't been a test actually in 6 years since 2015, we will have to go to the county's list because our list expired. And we will be able to hire officers from there and working with other people who will transfer from other police departments. So we are working to replenish our police department, but I think it's more than just a hiring conversation that needs to be had going forward. There's going to be some real deep conversation around pay parity and pay equity, because this is one of the primary reasons that we are losing so many of our police officers, because Mount Vernon has really not changed their pay scale for most of our positions. And it is very hard to retain very qualified, very experienced officers when they can go to almost any other police. Same thing in fire, same any position we have here. If they can go to any other department for and get $20,000 to $30,000 more a year walking in the door, and they don't see as much action that would put their lives at risk. So, I think this is a much larger discussion as to the hastened increase, rate of attrition that we're experiencing in the police department. We're at risk for that all over. So it's a larger discussion that we definitely will have to have. It's been, talked about for many years, but we are beyond the tipping point. Okay, next agenda item.
And the reason for asking was basically because I'm getting so many personnel forms of them leaving. So that's why I asked that question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we could share with you the results of some of the exit interviews if you want to know why there is such a great movement of officers out of the department.
No, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And I may. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, folks. Item number 11 is authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with General Code Content Management Solutions for document scanning.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
Yes.
Council President Griffith,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you all. Item number 12 is authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency and create a grant-funded position within the Department of Planning and Community Development for the sum of $77,234.76.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question?
On the question, do we know what that position would be?
The position here, it is a senior accountant. It says it in the referral, it says it in the legislation. It's a senior accountant, and it's also supported. Yeah, it's a senior accountant position at the salary of $77,234.76 for a 24-month period. And this person will report to the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Planning and Community Development, which also oversees the Urban Renewal Agency. The Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency right now is managing over $15 million in federal funds that have come from HUD through the CARES Act, through CDBG, through ESG, through HOME. I think for the first time in many, many years, we have reestablished our program credibility with HUD. We are up to date on all of our federal reporting, but there are still challenges because we have not allocated the proper resources of financial staff. So we want to make sure that we have a senior accountant in the Urban Renewal Agency / Planning Department, so that senior accountant can do the work of closing the books, which will bring the Urban Renewal Agency up to speed in being able to process and close their audits. We know that audits have run behind for years again because there was not proper staffing, but with the additional monies, the millions of extra monies that have come into the Urban Renewal Agency, we want to make sure that we have someone in there who has the clear qualifications to manage the books, to close the books, and we don't have to continue to contract out every year to close the books and to prepare for audits. So that is one of the reasons. The second thing that we know is years ago, we did lose our Section 8 program here in the city of Mount Vernon. We also lost our emergency shelter grant funds. And so in 2020 and in 2021, for the first time in over 10 years, emergency shelter grant funds have returned to the Urban Renewal Agency, and ensuring that we have proper financial management staff in that office will ensure that Mount Vernon stays in compliance and continues to get these monies from the federal government. So, you know, once you mess up federal money, that becomes a major problem, and that information goes out to all other federal agencies. So we want to make sure that we're compliant, that we're efficient, and we're staying timely and closing of our books. And we believe that this position will go a long way to ensuring that those things happen.
And how many shelters does Mount Vernon have currently?
Mount Vernon, the city of Mount Vernon does not own shelters. This is not necessarily for the shelters. Emergency shelter grant funding can go to shelters, but it also allows the city of Mount Vernon to oversee programs or to go into contract with not-for-profit agencies to provide services to those who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And so that's what emergency shelter grant funding is about. But the number of shelters, we have West Hab, we have West Help, we have the Youth Shelter of Westchester. We have several group homes, but official shelters here in the city of Mount Vernon are operated by the Westchester County or overseen by the Westchester County Department of Social Services, not by the city of Mount
No,
Vernon.
I know that, but
So
they're located in Mount Vernon as well.
they're located in Mount Vernon.
That's
and
why I asked you how many we
there are
have.
two primary shelters. The family shelter, Vernon Plaza, or whatever they call it now, is on 2nd Avenue. West Help is on Franklin Avenue. And then we have a drop-in shelter for women, a overnight drop-in shelter for women, which is over near 3rd Avenue and 1st Street. Those are the shelters.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, call for the vote.
Thank you, ma'am. And Comptroller Reynolds on item number 12.
I'm going to abstain because I fully don't anything, so I have to see some documentation on that. I'm going to abstain for now.
Thank you, ma'am. Council President Griffith
Aye.
and Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item number 13 is authorizing the city council to approve and amend and restate and restated land disposition agreement related to July 11th and 25th and 20. I'm sorry. Authorizing the city council to approve and amend a restated land disposition agreement related to 7-11, 25, and 29 North McQuestion Park.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question,
And the question, what does the land disposition agreement consist of? Because I don't have a copy.
well,
If I may, the LADA, the land acquisition and disposition is in regards to the contracted agreement between the city and this operation to purchase certain plots of land, also known as, there are 3 lots. One is 7-11 North McQuestion, one is 25 North McQuestion, and the last is 29 North McQuestion. There is an agreement between the city and an operator to acquire those lands after they've met a number of certain conditions. So that process is quite long-winded. The LADA is the contract to that. The properties have not been transferred yet, but it is the agreement that we have in place that if they meet certain criteria, it is possible that the land will be transferred. So yeah, it's a LADA agreement that piece of legislation is allowing the mayor to sign off on. And if I must say,
So how old is the LADA?
so if I can,
Because I haven't seen one. How old is it?
if I can finish, the items numbers 1 through 13 are resolutions approving ordinances. Just for the public's notification, all of these items have been approved by the city council. At our last council meeting. They're simply being forwarded here to the Board of Estimate. Thank you.
Okay, so the Board of Estimate approves what the city council like to legislate. The Board of Estimate is the place, is the board that approves all city council legislation. You have a right to approve it or deny it, but that you didn't answer my question. I was asking how old is the LADA? Because I remember this when I was on city council, the same LADA agreement or contract. I mean, how many years is it going to take for someone to continue with a contract that nobody knows about, or a LADA agreement that I haven't seen? I don't know if anybody else has seen it. So my question was, how old is the LADA? And, basically, who is the mayor who signed up on the LADA? I mean, is it someone from back in Ernie Davis's time when he was mayor, former Mayor Thomas's time? Is it Sean Patterson's time? That was my question.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Sure.
So there was a LADA with the previous administration. That LADA was reviewed. It has been revised, and the agreement between the operator and the city council is now coming before Mayor Sean Patterson Howard to sign. So yes, you are correct. The old LADA, some things were referred to because it is the same operator, but in this case, it has been revised and reviewed, and that is what we're bringing forward now. So yes, this LADA will solely be signed by Mayor Patterson Howard if this body, the Board of Estimate and Contract, agrees for this process to go forward. But for the public's concern, there is absolutely no finalization to the sale of these properties yet. A LADA is a kind of precursor to the preparation of us to sell the property.
Well, as you said, a contract was signed. So basically, if you could forward me the information so I can have a copy of it as a board member, because I don't have the documents.
And so Council President Griffith, I believe the initial discussion around this LADA, or the initial LADA, was back from December 2015. And so this is an amended LADA and an updated LADA going forward. The property that is being discussed has been appraised and will be purchased above the appraisal value. This will be an opportunity to bring properties back onto the tax roll that have not been on the tax roll. And so when we talk about economic development and being able to expand our tax base, this will be a critical project going forward. So the information will be forwarded. I believe you were on the city council when this LADA was discussed.
I don't know what you believe, but
When the
basically
LADA
I'd like to
was
have a
first
copy of it.
discussed in December of 2015, Comptroller Reynolds, you were a city
It
council
doesn't matter
person
if I was a
at
city
that-
council. You're
So,
bringing up
ma'am,
a whole new contract. I
Right,
need to
and
see
so-
what you guys are
and
doing.
so
And
what
so
we
does the
see-
public. I mean,
Ma'am,
all I'm asking you simply, all I'm asking you is
Right,
simply, it's
and-
not an argument, to provide
but
me the
you're making it
documents so
an
that I can
argument.
view
I am
them.
answering your
Let's do that
question.
before
I
you
am
sign off on something.
Point of order, right? Okay.
So that's all, we have point of order, just give me the documents.
I didn't talk when you were speaking, ma'am. So
Yes,
I
you
asked
did.
that you not do the same.
Yes, you did. Just provide me the documents. It's simple.
So no problem. Thank you.
So there's no hidden
As
agenda. That's all I'm asking.
Stated, point of order.
And
Second
another
time.
thing, what's
Point
being
of-
built there? That's another
point
thing
of
that the
order.
public needs to know.
Point
What's
of
being
order.
built in our city?
Point
I
of
don't know if it's
order.
going to be a revenue generating entity. If
Third
it may be
point
a
of
pilot
order.
associated. People need to know what's going on in our community. That's why I'm asking you. So just provide me the documents and I appreciate it.
And all of that is taking place in city council hearings. All of this is
I
being done
appreciate
very
you providing me
publicly.
the documents
The fact that you don't.
and
think,
making
you
the
know,
public aware of what's going to be built
Okay,
there.
so,
And if there's going to be a pilot
the
as
final
well.
point of order, so that I can
You
speak
can
as the
move
chair.
on. You can move on.
As the chair, I don't need you to give me directions.
I
Thank
do,
you.
because
No,
I
you
have a conversation to have, and that's what I'm going to
Can you
do.
please mute the controller at this time?
Here we
Because I've
go,
given 3
public.
point of orders.
You don't
Yes.
want me to tell you what's going on in this city. It's
You won't
always
allow
a
me to
hidden
speak.
agenda.
Can you please mute the controller? I'm
Go
asking
ahead.
as the chair.
Hidden agendas all the time with
Please
you, Mayor
mute
Patterson
the
Howard. Tell
controller.
the truth.
I
Tell
don't
the
have the
public what's
ability.
actually.
Thank you. So as I stated, and I was very respectful in allowing the
Tell
controller
the
to
people
speak.
what you're building.
I allowed the controller to speak, and
No,
so
you
I am
didn't. You muted.
speaking, and this is a point of
You
order.
muted.
Please take away unmute from non-hosts. So as we stated, this information is already out in front of the council. It has been shared and sent down to the controller's office
No,
as part of the
don't
certified
lie.
city council meeting.
Don't lie.
So paperwork is sent down to the
Mayor
controller's
Patterson.
office as part of certified information. And it has been sent down, so we are moving on now to the next agenda item. Thank you very much.
We are,
Untrue.
as a point of information, we are still in discussion on the motion for item number 13.
Okay, so we are calling for the vote.
Thank you, ma'am. Controller Reynolds, I'll say you, ma'am. But I'll say you on number 13. You're
Just
on mute.
continuously muting me.
You're unmuted,
If
ma'am.
you stop
You're
muting me and let me
unmuted.
tell the public what's
So
going on
we're
in Mount
on the
Vernon,
vote. You had a conversation on the
you
discussion.
muted me.
Okay,
And-
are you
You
going
need to
to, are you
stop
going to give
hiding
your
what's
vote?
going on in this
Are you
city and
going
tell
to
the
give your
truth.
vote?
You
Your
just
vote is
can't do
either
that.
yes or no
You
or
simply-
abstain.
Yes,
Point of
ma'am.
You
order,
simply can't tell the truth,
Point
Mayor
of order.
Patterson.
point of
No,
order.
absolutely
The
not.
controller
Here's
has
my
chosen-
vote. Absolutely not.
Thank
With your
you
hidden
for-
agendas that you're
Thank you for
hiding from the public
registering
and the
your vote. Thank you
taxpayers.
very much.
They bear the burden
Next
of your
vote.
mistakes and your mess
Council
ups.
President Griffith, I'll say you, sir.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
And there's a point of order for all of the information is in your packet today. Thank you.
Yes, all of the information is in the packet.
It's not
that
in the
everyone
packet.
Thank you.
It's
received.
not in my packet.
It is
the council-
Mr.
absolutely-
Holmes, I'm not asking you for your excuses. I'm telling you what's here.
It
Thank
is
you,
in
ma'am.
a
We can move
very
ahead
big
because I know it's a hidden
packet that
agenda.
everyone has
Move
received.
on,
Item number 14, if
Next
I may.
item.
move on.
Madam Mayor, may I move on to item number 14?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Item number 14 is under the section of tax reviews and settlements. Item number 14 is selling the tax review proceedings for Degrassi Realty LLC at 226 South 12th Avenue for the amount of $8,296.19.
So moved.
Seconded. On the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds, how say you, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. And Council President Griffith?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. And Mayor Patterson Howard?
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Council President Griffith, you're being
Um,
recognized.
Madam President, if you will, we know we have a very high viewer content. Explain in your best, simplest terms, maybe within a minute, tax review settlements and what that means. We are approaching one item that is quite large, and I think it's going to be worth explanation before we get to that one, because I will be speaking on the question on that one. So it's best for the public to explain what these 4 items that we are in the midst of before we get to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Madam Chairwoman, may I be recognized on that?
Yes, you
So,
may.
I absolutely foresaw that would be required, that we would have to have some discussion about that. So we have our tax assessor, Stephanie Vanderpool, and also our counsel, Joyce Brown, that are prepared, sitting, waiting to discuss the tax settlements when you're ready, at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, so we will recognize Ms. Vanderpool and Attorney Brown. Commissioner Vanderpool and Attorney Brown. Commissioner Stephanie Vanderpool is the assessor for the city of Mount Vernon, and Attorney Joyce Brown is attorney that works around our tax tertiaries.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council. Thank you for recognizing us. I want to speak in reference to the tax certioraries that we have on the agenda this morning. I know we do have one large item there, but Joyce is going to give us an overview of the status of the tax certioraries first, and then I will speak more in detail for the large, I think it's Lorraine Terrace, a tax settlement on that particular case. Thank you.
Thank you, Assessor. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Board of Estimate members. I'm just here to talk today about the current state of the tax certs. And I have like four points that I want to make so that everyone is aware of where we are. The first one is that at the conferences that I attend last week, it was brought to my attention that a few matters that were settled with certain petitioner's attorney, this attorney wanted to discuss the city of Mount Vernon paying interest on past due judgments, wherein the city of Mount Vernon entered into a consent judgment and failed to pay within the 90 days, which is what is required. This becomes an issue because if the payments are not made within the 90 days, the court allows the petitioner to collect 9% interest on this judgment amount. So 9% sounds very high, especially with all the low interest rates that we're seeing now. And on a $100,000 refund that can be due, that's $9,000 extra. That was not budgeted. That was not in the city's budget. So it then becomes an added burden on the taxpayers because if it happens on one, it may happen on a few. This is not normally the case. Usually in the past, the city had paid these judgments within the 90 days, so this wasn't an issue, but now it's becoming an issue, and so we wanted to bring it to the city's attention. The second thing is, in addition to this petitioner, there was another matter, a major matter, Cvs, that the city settled last year. It was a very large settlement, about $218,000. All the paperwork was done, everyone signed off on it, and we were able to negotiate a settlement wherein we agreed to pay an installment agreement that petitioners allowed us to enter into. Three payments. One was in December 2020, and each of these payments was, I think, about $72,600 each. One was supposed to happen in February of 2021, and then the last one was for March of 2021. To date, from what I understand, none of these payments have been made, which puts the city in a bad position because now, as I said before, these payments can be subject to that 9% interest. And 9% on $218,000 is a lot of money. The third point I want to make is that once one petitioner starts to collect on these interests, the floodgates are open and all these other petitioners' attorneys will follow suit, so that we will start getting hit with a lot of these motions so that they can recover interest on the amounts that have not been paid. And again, I stress that this is an added tax burden for the taxpayers of Mount Vernon. These amounts, because we had not anticipated them, become extra amounts that the city now has to come up with. And that's the state right now. My last point is that the school board has paid their share. So when we enter into these consent judgments, it's the city signing off, the school board signing off, the judge signing off, and the petitioner signing off. So everyone signs off. The city, the school board makes their payments. And on some of these, Mount Vernon is the one that is behind. So we are the only ones that are being charged possibly charged this 9% interest. And we're not often aware that these payments have not been made because the only reason why we know is that we are notified by the petitioner's attorneys that they have not received the payment within the 90 days. And then the court will put these matters back on the conference schedule so that the city can address why they haven't been paid and what we plan to do about it. So those are the four major things that are going on right now. Just wanted to make everyone aware and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
As Councilor
Yes.
Joyce Brown, I have a question, because I know that the assessments have been upside down in the city of Mount Vernon for years. Because of the assessor's office improperly assessing taxpayer properties in Mount Vernon. But when, year after year, the budgets never reflect the money that's needed to pay all of these issues that we have with assessments in Mount Vernon. And so this is another reason why there is a late payments when it comes to these types of settlements. You're settling something, but there's no money there. There's no money put in place in the mayor's budget. And so it causes a discrepancy year after year. And I want to bring that up today because it's an issue. And it's going to be an issue until it's rectified. If there's so many people claiming that their properties are not assessed properly and continuing to sue like this, how much is Mount Vernon going to be, have to bear the burden of? So I just wanted to say that because basically there has to be a change. There has to be some type of assessment change in how you're assessing these properties because it's caused a problem and it's really getting out of hand now.
Okay, so if I could just speak to that issue, and then I've seen you, Council President, I will recognize you, and then the assessor.
And this
So
is not a debate.
The city of Mount
Not a
Vernon
debate.
has not, reevaluated our properties in, I believe, almost 40 years. And so this is a problem that goes back for almost 40 years. There needs to be a full-scale across the city, residential and commercial and industrial property revaluation that we know will cost upwards of about $2 million. I know that Assessor Vanderpool and her team have been going out and speaking to the companies that do this because this is a much bigger project than our assessor and deputy assessor could do. So we are looking at this. Because yes, Comptroller Reynolds, you are absolutely right. We've been upside down insofar as certiaries. So the public can understand certiaries just don't come in for the year and that someone is challenging their taxes on their properties. Certiaries can go back, I believe, as far as 7 years. And so sometimes in 7 years,
Longer, sometimes longer.
sometimes even longer. And so what we have sometimes is the certiaries that come before us, which is hard to predict. I mean, we absolutely, and we've said that in our budget presentations, that we need to be able to raise the amounts that are budgeted for certiaries. But businesses can come back, we have certiaries before us that are 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and there is no way to predict that. So one of the most important things that we have to do as a government going forward is to budget for a full-scale revaluation, because what we've seen over the past 10, 15 years, each year Mount Vernon is devalued, and it's not devalued because our properties are devalued. It is devalued because we have not done an assessment. Actually, as people come in and purchase properties, they purchase properties at a much higher price because that is the going market rate and the value of those lands. But because we don't have them assessed at the proper levels, then they're able to go back and grieve their taxes. And so there could be a property that is really valued at $500,000, and because the assessment of that property is 30, 40 years old, it can be assessed at $200,000, and then people will go back and grieve their taxes. And so the answer to this problem going forward for the long run is going to be a full citywide revaluation of all of the parcels of land here in the city of Mount Vernon, which we know is going to cost upwards of $2 million. And we have been paying over $2 million in certiaries for the past few years, but to just budget them all in 1 year again would be a major hit. So this is not a new issue. This is an ongoing issue. I do know that we did raise in this budget the amount that we've allocated to certiaries, but still it does not cover all of the certiaries that come in. Council President Griffith, did you have something to say? You're recognized at this time.
I do, but I'm actually scared to say it because I would like the meeting to end at a certain time. So what I do want to say is that the accounting of these certiaries would be nice to have year over year so that the council and the mayor's office could really quantify the amount paid out in certiaries. And if there's an interest element to it, the council would like to know, and of course the administration would like to know what that interest element is on the certiaries. I think your explanation, and thank you, Madam Assessor and Mrs. Brown, for your response to how the certiaries work and the difficulty that we're in. But it would be good to know how much those certiorari's are. And we haven't even discussed our equalization rate as it comes to the rest of the county and how Mount Vernon is taxed in comparison to our neighbors and the rest of the county. So yes, we need a new assessment. I was going to say north of $1 million. Madam Mayor said upwards towards $2 million. This is our reality. And if we, I think if we invest in ourselves and do a reval, which is a tremendous amount of work, it will correct a lot of the errors that we have. And then the property owners won't be doing certiorari's on a squeaky wheel basis. It would be more on a stable across the board, level of the playing field approach that we need to have. So if these certiorari's, it would be nice to know the accounting of the certiorari's that we paid in the last 4 years, but unfortunately, the council has had no accounting from the accounting office to be able to know how much we've paid out year over year so that we could plan a little bit better. So without belaboring the point, thank you,
You
Madam.
did have that. You had that when you received the documents from my office. The financials you didn't look at or you couldn't comprehend.
Yeah,
You did
okay,
have it.
right.
You
Yeah,
have it.
imagine on.
Yeah.
you,
Well, then you
I'm
know
not gonna-
what?
I don't wanna
Stop
do it.
blaming
I'm
me for
leaving.
your
Goodbye. Sorry,
taxes.
sorry,
Pay your
sorry.
taxes and stop blaming me. Remember that? I'm to blame for paying for not paying your taxes for you. Pay your taxes, Mr. Griffith.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Do that.
I'm not.
Controller Reynolds.
Stop blaming the
Council President
comptroller for
Griffith,
something that you didn't do.
point of order.
That's
Both
your
Council President
financial
Griffith
problem.
And Controller Reynolds, point of order. Thank you. Assessor Vanderpool, anything else before you finish?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Thank you for the explanation in reference to the city doing a revow. And I want to thank you ahead of time that you're actually willing to go forward and do a revaluation for the city of Mount Vernon. As you stated, the city is one of 3 communities in Westchester, the entire Westchester, that hasn't had a revow. Our last revaluation of all city-owned properties was in 1964. So I do state again that our office is governed by the New York State Office of Real Property Tax Law, and we receive the equalization rate from the state yearly. And as Council Griffith President stated, our equalization rate each year has been declining. So if that decline, that has a deflation on the value. So that hopefully once we do get a revow and we're at 100%, then we will definitely not see the huge tax settlements because all of the commercial properties will be at full market value. So then they will not have to file to try to get a reduction. I would like also to state that the tax settlements right now, currently, we're just paying 2019 tax settlements. So we're in 2021, which we haven't started settling yet. So we do submit the vouchers down on time. I know the budget was allocated for $500,000. Thank you, Mayor Patterson. You did increase it this year. Prior to that, we used to allocate between $1 million and $1.2 million for the tax certiorari's. So hopefully, in the next couple of years, once we do start the revow, that we will no longer have to budget for that. But I'll just state again that these are 2019 tax settlements, which are being paid late, and that's why we're getting ready to open up a floodgate. If the city of Mount Vernon does not pay these tax settlements on time, that'll be an additional 9% on top of the settlements, which we did not allocate for in our budget. I'll just like to say one more thing on CVS. We negotiated CVS settlement in good faith with the petitioner attorney. They were willing to do a tax settlement with the city for not tax settlement, tax payment installment for three tax payment installments, which was the first one was supposed to be paid in December of 2020. And then in 2021, we were going to make the other 2 payments, totaling $72,000 for each payment installment. But since the city hasn't made those payments, now CVS wants the full payment in full of $217,000. $998 in full payment because we didn't keep our agreement that we had negotiated with. So hopefully, Controller Reynolds will be able to cut the check as soon
Well,
as
yeah,
possible.
I mean, now that we have a budget, you're absolutely right. Now that we have a budget, because I remember our budget was 81 days late, the mayor's adopted budget. The council and the mayor didn't adopt it till 81 days late. So as you stated before, yes, there's a settlement. But if you don't have the money to allocate to remit a check to the vendor, then you can't pay your bill. Yes, the assessor's office has these settlements, the law department has them, but yet there's no money funded for it. There's no money in place and no place, which means it's late. That's what causes an increase in interest year after year. So I talk about this all the time, but things have to be done properly, but on time. Enough money has to be in place to cover the cost for these things, mistakes that happen through the city. So the comptroller's office is happy to assist, but if there's no funding there, no check can be remitted to the vendor. No settlement can be paid. That's how it works. So, I appreciate what you're saying, but as I'm saying, you have to do your job in making sure, and the mayor has to do the job in making sure that she has money funded in the budget and that the budgets are timely.
Hold on.
That's what-
Commissioner
that's what-
Vanderpool, I'll take, Commissioner
that's
Vanderpool,
basically
thank
what
you
I'm
so,
saying.
Controller Reynolds, thank you. for
Everybody
your-
has to do their job so that the comptroller's office can do this, do this.
Thank you for your explanation, Controller
It's
Reynolds.
not an explanation, it's the fact.
Commissioner Vanderpool, thank you, because as you stated in the beginning of your presentation, we are still paying
Yes.
certiaries going back to
You sure are.
2018 and 2019.
You sure
You
are.
also stated in your presentation that the CVS settlement, the first payment was to be made in December of 2020, and in December of 2020, and in the months that we made this settlement beforehand, the 2020 budget was very well much in place. And so it is
You
not
spent all
about,
the money. You
we
forgot
need
about your
to-
salary
we-
increases, your
we
$30,000
need
to
to
$50,000 raises, Mayor
like
Patterson
you
Howard.
said,
You forgot about your
2018
abuse and
and
spending.
2019.
It's all in the auditor's report. Just
And-
read it.
And as
Your
you
budget
stated
81 days late,
also-
you and the city council. It's reckless.
Thank you, Controller.
It's
Thank you
reckless.
so much.
It's reckless. And that's
Okay.
why the city's in trouble because of you.
Yes, and if you could
Do
please
your budgets
give
on
us,
time.
and if you could give us
Come to
financial
work.
records for which you have
Take care of the
failed to
day-to-day
do
functions with your
for
department.
almost 40 months,
Do
then
what you
the
have to do
council and the
as
mayor's
a mayor
office
and
and
stop
all of
putting
the
on this
commissioners
facade
would
and
be
blaming
able to
others.
look
You
at
and the
our
council
financial
president and the city
status.
council
It
members.
is very hard
Your
for
legislation
20
is defective.
offices.
You don't
It
know
is
how to
very
create a
hard
budget narrative.
for
Number
20
Your
hold on.
expenses were wrong. Your revenues were overstated.
So it, like you said,
basically,
it
just
is
look
hard
at
for
the- look at
20
the paperwork.
offices to
Review
create
it.
budgets
Read
and
what it
follow
says.
budgets
And I
when
did
they
provide
have
you
no
the financials you
financial
lied about.
reports. But we'll move
You simply
on.
lied to the public.
We'll move
You
on.
received it, you couldn't comprehend
We
it.
have item number
You wanted-
15.
you
Thank
wanted to
you.
give your
Next
raises.
item, item number 15.
wanted to
Item number
overtake the
15 is
budget.
settling the tax review proceedings for Thunder Properties at 137 South Fifth Avenue for the sum of $14,852.71. Thank you for the call.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question? Roll call?
Controller Reynolds, I'll say you on item number 15, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. And Council President Griffith.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay,
Item number
come on.
16 is settling the tax review proceedings for 326 South Fulton Avenue LLC. That's the 310 South Fulton Avenue for the sum of $37,619.82.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question? Roll call?
Controller Reynolds.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor, I'm sorry, Council President Griffith,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 17 is settling tax review proceedings for Lorraine Terrace condominium. It's at 81 Lorraine Avenue for the sum of $369,844.54.
So moved.
Seconded. On the question?
On the question, Okay, so first of all, we have to make sure there's enough funding in place with the adopted 2021 budget to cover the costs for these settlements. So I am actually going to abstain until I see that there's funding available. I know that it is owed. Also, I'd like to say if it is not enough funding in the account code provided by the department to pay their bill, what has to happen is the mayor has to transfer funds to replenish the deficient amount, so that this vendor can be paid and we can take care of that settlement. So I just wanted to put that on the record, that there's a process that needs to take place. It's not just the controller's responsibility. When they bring down their bill, they need to pay. There has to be funding available in order for the comptroller's office to remit a check. So I just wanted to put that, like I said, again, on the record so that people are aware how the system works, how this process works.
That line of reasoning was
It
rejected.
doesn't matter. I didn't ask you for
by
your
a court-
personal opinion,
by a court.
Council Johnson.
First of all,
I
I
didn't know that you were
recognize.
gonna stick
Through
your
the
head
chair,
out
please,
here.
through the chair.
But I
all.
didn't ask
The chair is
what I do
recognizing
in my office. I'm telling you what needs to be done. So
Corporation Counsel
you can
Johnson.
say whatever you
you're
want. I
being
didn't ask for your
recognized.
opinion, your legal opinion.
Controller Reynolds, we did not interrupt you as you were
Of course
speaking.
you did. I was still talking. You always interrupt me with your lies, Mayor Patterson. How
Oh
would you
my
interrupt if
goodness.
you want? You always
Point of order,
making
point
excuses,
of order.
lying about
Controller Reynolds,
something.
Point of order. Corporation Counsel Brian Johnson, you are being recognized. Thank you.
So the line of reasoning, especially as it relates to the law department, has been rejected by Comptroller.
Oh, here we go, people. Here we go with the same false narrative that Corporation Counsel brings on behalf of the mayor. Don't even listen to him. He's
Through the
making
chair, ma'am, point
There
of
is
order,
a
please.
process. William Holmes, I didn't ask you.
Point
There's
of
a
order.
process.
Point of order, please, ma'am.
I am the
You people do
chair.
not
I
follow the
explained
process, and you
Robert's
send the
rules of
lawyer
orders
here
in the
to make
beginning.
excuses to have the public believe what I'm saying is false. I am accurate in what I'm saying. When there's no
And
money in that
Controller Reynolds,
code,
no
Mayor
one said
Patterson
that
Howard,
we're
you and your
not
council
accurate.
people are to
What
transfer
we are
that money.
saying is, unfortunately, we cannot transfer monies.
Yes,
when
you can.
have
You do
not
it all the time. Look
provided
at the-
a
look at your
financial
paperwork.
report.
You're
You have
transferring
not
money all the
provided a
time. You
financial
just don't want to
report.
transfer it when you don't want to transfer it.
Point of
Do
order.
your job.
Point of
Learn what it
order.
is you're supposed
At
to
this
do and
time,
act upon
I'm
it.
going to
Follow the
move you
city
so that we
charter.
can move on with the meeting.
The mayor
Point of order.
transfers the funds. She just doesn't
The
want
mayor
to.
transfers the funds
She wants
as
to
the
transfer when
controller
she
provides
wants.
a financial
When she
report.
wants. You have it. I gave you everything. Trial balance, revenues and expenses, and you still gave those
Absolutely.
$30,000 to $50,000
The
raises during
state
COVID.
controller, the
Tell
state
the truth.
controller's letter
The
that you keep
narrative was
referring
about
to
you not
also
doing your
says that
job.
upon subpoena,
Overstating the
you
budget,
have not even
81
provided the
days
state
late,
controller's
by
office with the
overstating
information
revenue,
that they've
lying
asked
about
you.
the expenses.
You have
It was
not-
all about
You
you
have
not doing your
provided
job.
a
And so read it,
comprehensive,
comprehend
cohesive,
it, and do your
and
job. Come to work,
understandable
Mayor Patterson
financial
Howard.
report since you've
Take
been
care
in
of the
office.
city's day-to-day
We are
functions
still
that
in
the
discussion on the
taxpayers hired
motion,
you to do.
folks.
Corporation Counsel Johnson, if people are professional, you will be
You're
able
not.
to present your conversation
It's
without
lies, not a conversation.
incessant chattering. So I am recognizing officially, for the record, at this time, our Corporation Counsel, and we hope we can move forward with dignity and professionalism as the city residents.
Well,
can't stop lying.
I'm not gonna say a lot because I'm not gonna participate in this. But one of the things that I want the residents to understand is that I'm working under circumstances where I'm being called a liar.
You did.
I
You
have
just lied.
receipts
You
for
said it was the
everything that I
comptroller's
say.
responsibility
So-
for the
So Madam
transfers. When you-
Comptroller, I'm not gonna engage in this banter with you. I'll take my case with all
When
my
you-
receipts to prove anything that comes out of my
It's
mouth.
the mayor.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I think the Corporation Counsel has concluded his comments, or
Thank you. So on the vote. on
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
call- Please call for the vote.
on item number 17, Comptroller Reynolds, how say you, ma'am?
So I have to review to make sure there's enough funding in place. If not, the mayor has to transfer the funds, but I'm going to abstain right now until that's.
Thank you, ma'am. Council President Griffith, sir.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. And Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye, and I
Thank
will ask that the controller please provide us with financial
You
reports
have
so that
them.
we can
You can't comprehend
identify.
them. You keep lying to the
monies
public, Mayor
Thank you.
Patterson
We can
Howard, and that's
transfer the
disingenuous
monies.
for a
Thank
mayor
Thank
to
you.
do
Under,
that.
under,
It makes
Next
me feel that
item.
you're hiding other
under
things
the
when you
topic
lie
of
like that.
amendments,
It
Item.
makes me feel that you're doing something wrong.
if I
Oh, I
may,
think
When
you're
you're
hiding
lying,
a
when
lot,
you're
but we'll
lying
move
like
on
that,
to
when
the
you're
next
lying like
item
that to the
in the
taxpayers, it
interest-
makes me feel you're doing something wrong.
In the interest of professionalism, we are moving
Forget the
on
professionalism. I'm
to
telling the
the
truth.
next
Forget
item.
the
under,
professionalism. It's
from
not
your
about being
direction,
professional. It's about telling the
Mayor,
public what they
next
need to
under
know.
amendments, item
The
number
taxpayers
18 is
that are paying
amending
the
the
burden.
resolution number 10
The variance.
adopted by the Board of Estimate contract on May 4th, 2021, settling the claim for Patrina Gilmore for the sum of $2,200.
So moved.
So moved.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds.
Yes.
Thank you. Council President Griffith.
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 19 is under salaries for 2021. And the first one under number 19 is minimum maximums classified CSEA. We want to entertain a motion to take them all, or would you like them read individually?
You could read them all individually, and then if we could vote on them all.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'm sorry, I do not have this legislation in my email, at least in the email that I was reviewing. My legislation ended at 18.
There was a
Right.
revised.
And there's the revised one late last evening, or late in the, or last evening, approximately.
Yes, I believe that's the one I was looking at. I'm checking now.
That's all right. I can resend it right now. I just resent it, sir. Just resent it to you. And you should get 2 of them shortly. My staff also resent it to you. So just give it a second. Excuse me.
Controller Reynolds, did you receive the revised agenda?
I
Would
did.
you like it resent to also Controller Reynolds if you have
She
it?
just
did
stated that
receive
she
it, thank you.
received it.
She has. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. That confirms receipt. Pardon me.
I gave a stamped copy, so you should have received it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council President, just give it a second. It's a large document, so it might take.
I have received it. I want to review.
So I can always pull this and we can call for another meeting so that we can move this agenda item forward. So in the, to give you an opportunity to review it, I will pull it.
I hate to do that, Madam Mayor. I was not aware that some of these items were on here. Some I am okay with, but other ones I would like more time to review.
So like I said, I have no problem pulling it, and we can always schedule another meeting or put this on the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Yes, please. And I do apologize. I was looking at a different revised agenda. I do apologize.
So, okay, so this is the salaries, the salary resolutions for 2021. The budget was adopted in February 24th, I believe it was. And now we're in May.
Mhm.
The salary resolutions are now being resolved months later. That should not be. But in the case of the public that's listening, these are the salaries that are within the 2021 budget that the mayor and the council approved. But you know, in looking at this, I can talk about this for a minute. I see a few discrepancies within this within the resolutions. It doesn't mirror the 2021 budget. So, if you're going to have another meeting, we'll discuss it then. But I'm just telling the public right now, since we're not moving ahead with reading this into the record or voting on it, that I see some discrepancies.
Thank you very much, Madam Controller. Yes, and we did adopt the budget in February, and for about
81 days late.
and for the past 18 years or more, the fiscal office and the payroll office have participated in creating the salary resolution. And in 2020, they discontinued this practice.
Right,
And
because it's
so-
wrong.
So
Because
while we
you're
have
the one who
over
puts
$1
all the salary
million,
increases in the budget. You're the one that
unfortunately,
gave those $30,000 to
while we
$50,000
have
raises
more
without
than
asking the
$1
public or the
million
taxpayers if
of
they wanted to
staffing
get that
in the
increase,
fiscal
or if they wanted to
department,
bear that
the
burden. And that's
fiscal
unfair, Mayor
department
Patterson Howard.
continues to refuse
That's
to perform
unjust.
the duties that the taxpayers are
And when
paying
you
over
receive
one-
documents
over
from me,
$1
if you
million
can't read them
in
or you can't
salaries.
comprehend finance,
But
you need to
they
ask me.
are-
And
they
that's also in the
refuse
auditor's
to
report,
do under
right?
the
What does it say?
controller's direction.
Key
Under the controller's
recommendations,
direction,
work with the controller so we can
And we
talk
have
about
tried to, and
the
your
trial balance and the
office,
fund
which has
balance.
over $1
But no,
million
you said we
of
had
financial
7.9% on your own, something you made up
to
to
pay the
increase
bills
the budget.
and to
That's not right.
to do
So
their
you can talk all
jobs
you want, Mayor
in
Patterson
determining
Howard,
the salary
but you're
resolution.
wrong.
And so
Just tell the
unfortunately,
truth for once.
we have to utilize staff
Have a good
that are
day.
not in the finance office
Whatever.
to perform,
Make
to
up your lies.
consistently
You had
perform the
everything you
duties that the
needed. You
finance
just did
department
whatever you wanted.
refuses
You
to
increased
do.
the taxes because you
In
wanted to give all of your
2018
patronage
and in
jobs.
2019,
And you wanted to
salary
give your 30
resolutions were
to
also not
$50,000
done.
raises.
So this is not a
So
new
it doesn't matter
issue
what you're
from
saying.
this
Everyone is
administration.
aware.
The behavior
They're
of the
aware.
controller's office, the
Yeah,
failure of the
whatever.
controller's
Come to work.
office to
Come
do
to
their
work. Do some work.
has decreased.
Be able to comprehend
So
what
thank
it
you
is
so
that I
much.
provide you. And if you can't,
Okay, so
I'm here.
next
Just
agenda
ask.
item, thank you
Don't
very
lie.
much. We have
So-
pulled this agenda item.
Are we, do we also look, excuse me, ma'am, are you also looking to pull, all of the items under salary 2021, that's items 19 through 32?
Well, those were all salaries, so all of those would be pulled because the city council president said he did not read the second email or whatever email, the revised email that was sent out by your office. He didn't get that information. He didn't have a chance to review it. So are we also pulling 33, which is,
Under confessions of claims or consent judgment, it's 33 and discussion of is the last item.
I
would
didn't
like to
receive
talk
anything
about-
on that.
I would like to talk about that if you want to. So basically.
Council Johnson, can you give me that consent judgment? Because I have not received that from you.
My suggestion, if I may, is for me to
That's
review
a lot of money.
under item number 18. I did receive the revised list, but in the revised list, it only ended at 18. I looked at an email that was sent, I believe, this morning. That's what I was using. So I would like to review everything below 18, which is 19 through 34. So I do have questions, Corporation Counsel, on items 33 and 34. I will do my due diligence, as I always do, to ask you questions before the meeting. So yes, if we even want to do a special to move on these two items, if they are timely needed, I have no problems doing that. I just need a little bit of time to review.
Yes,
So
my apologies. That was the thing that I wanted to get to you before the meeting, but essentially it ties into, and we can discuss it again, but
so we're going, hold on, just for the record, we are pulling the salary resolutions 19 through 32, confession of claims, consent judgment number 33, and number 34 is just up for discussion, not for vote right now.
Okay.
Right, but what I wanted to say in relation to item 33, it kind of ties in with what the assessor was talking about. This is
So hold on one second. So we're tabling the vote. We are now just putting this on for discussion. So this agenda item now is just listed for discussion. So we're
Right.
gonna just make that change, that amendment. Okay, thank you so much, Corporation Counsel. You can proceed.
Yeah, so this kind of ties in number 33, and again, we can discuss it in more details if you have questions. But this is a example of where the city has entered into a settlement and has not
No,
paid
don't
it.
tell
This
that. That's not
matter-
true.
this matter-
I never
yeah.
received the document.
Yeah, you
Corporation
should have known
Counsel.
about it. It's been a subject of
No.
2 lawsuits.
You know what happened?
Anyway.
What you did
It's
was,
a 9%
Corporation Counsel, you
increase, yeah.
settled into
Okay.
an agreement without providing me the comptroller the documents, because you know, per the city charter, I intervened.
Motion to adjourn.
What you did was you did
Yeah,
this on
because
your
she
own, and
wrote
Marcus
about it.
Griffith,
It was
pay your
deep.
taxes.
Motion to
No
adjourn.
one asked
Madam
you.
Mayor, I'll take
No
a
one's
second.
asking
Yeah,
you.
you didn't
Stop
know.
blaming people
We're
and
not
stop
gonna
lying
put
and
the
pay your
public
taxes
through
and
this.
stop blaming me for you not
Can you
doing
please
what you
call
were
the
supposed
roll?
to do.
I have a motion, I have a second.
How about that?
Controller Reynolds, how say you on the motion to adjourn, ma'am?
I say basically, we need to discuss that, and Corporation Counsel should not be settling.
How say you on the
without
discussion to
How
a
can you
motion?
say
That's
that
what I
on the
want the
Council
public to
President
know what
Griffith, how
happened.
say you on the
You will
discussion?
never know how much
Aye,
money
aye.
he's settling
Okay.
for.
One
He's doing it
second.
without your
One
knowledge
second.
and my knowledge as
So-
controller, and that's against the law.
Okay, so
I'm not
Now,
breaking any law. Hold
You
on.
never gave
I'm
me the
not-
chance.
no, no,
You
no,
Order.
entered
no,
into a judge,
I'm not
you
breaking
entered
any law.
into
I'm
a
sorry, we're in
settlement
roll call.
with these
Corporation
people without
Counsel
me
Johnson,
knowing.
point of order.
Corporation Counsel,
Yeah.
Corporation Counsel,
Yes.
point of order, please.
I-
Thank you.
I
As the
understand.
chair right now,
got you.
I am going to speak as the chair.
And how say you on the discussion on
Hold
the?
on 1 second. As the chair, I'm going to speak. So as the chair, I'm requesting not only for this matter, all settlements and judgments, all lawsuits that are before the city, the controller's lawsuit,
Article, yeah, it was a
Article
proposed Article
78.
78.
give me the settlement and
Controller
don't settle
Reynolds,
before I see it.
Controller
My job
Reynolds,
is to
we
protect
are
the taxpayer
asking
funds.
for
You
to
people are
sit-
settling
We are
cases
asking
without me
Controller
seeing it for
Controller Reynolds,
substantial
if
amounts
you
of
would
money, and that's
listen
against
for
the
1
charter.
minute
It's a
and stop
violation.
speaking,
You're constantly
then you would
violating the city
hear
charter, and the
Controller
taxpayers don't know
Reynolds.
what burden they're going to bear with
Controller,
your
point
mistake.
of order, point of order 1,
Yeah,
thank you.
point of order.
So Controller
You
Reynolds,
heard what I said.
on
Mayor
behalf of the
Patino.
office of the mayor and on behalf of the city council, we have
It doesn't
requested
matter on
in
behalf of
writing,
you. I'm on
we have
behalf of the
requested in
taxpayers, and what I'm
and
saying
we
is,
are now
do the right thing
requesting,
on behalf of them, and
we are requesting for a meeting with you, Controller Reynolds.
fine.
We are requesting for a meeting with you, as we have requested for.
No, you
months,
haven't
as we have
requested anything. When I
in
told you not to
writing
raise the
to
taxes, you didn't
discuss
request a
all
meeting.
judgments
When I
and
told
finances
you,
and
The
settlements
law
that
department
are before the
is,
city,
is
and are
all,
before
what
the
he's
court,
doing
and
is
we are asking
settling
for
without
you
me
to have a
knowing,
meeting.
and that's a
We look
violation of the
forward
city charter.
to
I have
having
sent
this
a number
meeting
of
so
emails
that we
and
can
letters to
conduct
the Corporation
business
Council about
of the
this same thing.
so
The
that we
city
can
is
conduct
losing
the
money
business
constantly
of the
because of this
city,
behavior.
so that we conduct the business of the city, and if we have meetings, and if you would
Mayor
have
Benson, when you come to work, sir,
supposed to live.
you need to
I
come to
know
work
you're not
first.
talking about me.
You're
I
never
come to work
here.
every
You're never
day,
here.
and
Your
I took
your
a
department
week
still have
of
problem bringing down
vacation.
vouchers. I'm still getting them years behind.
Incredible.
That's
So
just
as I
abusive.
said
Tell
on
the
the
truth.
record,
That's
the
your
office
fault.
of the mayor and the city
Come to
council
work.
are requesting a
Come
meeting,
to work.
and
Do your
we
job.
look forward
Make
to
sure
you
that things are
responding
functioning in
and
the city of
replying.
Mount Vernon like you should.
Everyone, so now back on the motion to adjourn.
I'm
It's
just
a
telling you.
motion.
We have a motion, and it is seconded, ma'am,
Roll
and we
call.
have,
Thank you.
I'll repeat the roll call count, Controller Reynolds, I'll say you on the motion to adjourn, ma'am.
When are we adjourning?
As soon as we finish this roll, I'll say you on the
When are
motion
we
to adjourn.
adjourning? I need to know when we're adjourning in order to say we're adjourning. When? Today?
The motion is to, the
Now.
motion is to adjourn now. I'll say you on the motion,
when are
ma'am,
we
that's
gonna come
seconded by
back?
the mayor.
When are we coming back?
We'll call another meeting. We're
I want to
calling
make
for
sure
a-
that the public
we're
is aware of
calling
what
for
you're
a
doing.
meeting with you.
That's why I'm
Controller
asking on their
Reynolds,
behalf.
And then we will
We want to know
renotice
what
a
you're
water
doing. We want to know
estimate.
what's going on here.
Oh, we absolutely
Not
do.
a secret meeting, a secret special that nobody knows about.
No, we can't have a
So
secret
yes,
special.
yes, City Clerk
specials
Holmes,
have to
yes,
be
we can
noticed.
adjourn the meeting, but the public should
Thank
be
you, ma'am.
notified.
I have you as
Very
a firm
important.
affirmation.
Notice.
Council
That's
President
very-
Griffith, how
very
say you on the
important.
motion?
Aye,
And Mayor Patterson
aye.
Howard, how say you on the motion, ma'am?
Aye.
What
Thank
they're
Thank
you
you.
adjourning is
very
very
much.
important.
Your
Everyone
motion, your
has
meeting
an
has
agenda.
adjourned at
Day.
10:49.
We don't want to
Thank
hit
you
the agenda.
so